When people think of design, they often think of something like this, or maybe this. But the next time that you think of design, I'd like you to remember this. Pantera is an organization that protects big cats around the world. And to protect the jaguar, they're building a 2 million square mile corridor that starts in Mexico and goes all the way down to Argentina. But thousands of people live in these areas. And the ranchers who live here are tired of waking up and finding their cattle mauled by jaguars. So they kill them. These ranchers need to protect their livelihoods, and they need to show their families that they can protect them. So, for Pantera to be able to stop the ranchers from killing the jaguars, they had to get the jaguars to stop eating cattle. So Pantera had an idea, and they set up solar electric fences around a few ranches in a region of Colombia that has no electricity. And they left them there for some time and then came back to check and see how things were going. As soon as they got there, they saw that the ranchers were beaming with joy, to the point where it was weird. Because the fences had worked, but these guys had plugged electric wires into the solar panels, dragged them across the pasture, and had installed electricity in their homes for the first time ever. Their children were doing homework at night. There was safety at night. You see, Pantera had not only found a way to stop jaguars from eating cattle, they had also found a way to replace that feeling of protecting your family from a predator to protecting your family by giving them light, by improving their quality of life. You see, innovation and conservation does happen, but too many times it happens by accident. But what if I told you that we could systematically and predictably bring innovation into wildlife conservation? And that is the power of design. If there is one industry that has been successful in the last 100 years, it's consumer products. And the reason is design, in large part. Recently, McKinsey published a study that showed that companies that embrace design had 32% more revenue and 56% more return to shareholders than those that didn't. But these are not the companies that threw a pack of Post-its on a desk and called it innovation. These are the ones who took it seriously and who tracked design performance with the same rigor as tracking revenue or tracking costs. But what is design anyway? There's so many definitions. The best one is Herbert Simons, who said that when you have a situation that you're not happy with, and through an intentional process, you change it for the better, you have designed. That's it. The outcome can be the design of a product, of an experience, of a business. But what matters is that process that understands what people aspire to and that builds on humans' natural behaviors. I'll give you an example. Conservation, far too often I hear, if only people knew more about this animal. If only they knew how important it is to their ecosystem, then they'll protect it. But just knowing stuff doesn't work. I know I should exercise. Do you have any idea how much money I spend on gym memberships I never use? And that is because information alone does not guarantee behavior change. But with design, we can create solutions that people are delighted to be a part of, like benefiting from living with jaguars because you're offered access to electricity. Design can also play a huge role in implementation. I've seen many great ideas that fail at a loss of thousands or millions of dollars after they launch. But the design process is made to break these ideas apart through low-cost prototypes to test exactly how, where, and why ideas might fail before they launch. Now, design can help conservation in many different areas. Essentially, anytime you have human beings who are making a choice, you can have design. Like, for example, did you know that most urban Kenyans have never seen an elephant? Or that most Colombians, like me, don't know that their country is one of the most biodiverse countries of the world. This bear lives in Bogota. We can rethink how local populations engage with their own wildlife, and we don't just leave it for tourists. We can also rethink conservation fundraising. Take a look at this. But did you know that there are less than 2,000 of them left in the wild? That their habitat is threatened by agriculture, climate change, and population growth? Statement's a bummer, isn't it? And that is because joy and the empathy that we feel for a first-time mom freaking out can be so much more powerful than doom and gloom statements. And with design, we can build on these emotions and we can design solutions that lead to meaningful action. In the last 15 years, design has brought immense value to humanitarian aid, to healthcare, and poverty alleviation. So why have we not brought it into conservation yet, when most of the world's conservation challenges are in some way rooted in human behavior? We don't need to leave innovation to happen by accident. And if we're going to stand a chance at coexisting with our wildlife, we're going to need many more jaguars bringing light into people's homes. Thank you.